Every now and then when I feel a bit buggy, I look at the floor, man, I need a new ruggy. Scratch that, I'll get some beers and get chuggy. Nah, man, I know what I need, some more Man Huggie. Oh, Man Huggie. Some old Man Huggie. Put your headphones on for proper audio quality, motherfucker.
Oh. Angry Black Quarterback, episode number 42. I don't even know what to say. No Elwood. No 2.0. No nobody today. I thought we were going to do it at 9, but apparently they couldn't. All good. It'll be a short one today. Definitely frustrating. Eagles lose, Cowboys lose, everybody loses. We all suck. So everybody can kind of just like shut the fuck up about that. I mean, they were good games. I mean, the Cowboys-Packers game, not necessarily that good of a game. There was junk time points. But, I mean, the Eagles game, I guess it was kind of close for a bit. Then they got that safety, and it just, like, collapsed, man. The defense couldn't do shit. Everybody was playing like shit. Frustrating. So frustrating. But we're here for episode 42. We all suck. We'll probably do another episode with those guys later. With the family man, laundry time, hang out with the missus. But I want to get kind of into these games from the weekend, and then, leading up into next week's games. Let me pull this bad boy up. Pop. Is it correct? Hey. First game that we got to see. It started out so good, and then it kind of just collapsed. But Houston Texans beat the shit out of the Cleveland Browns. Defense did not show up for the Cleveland Browns at all. Joe Flacco threw the ball 46 times, 34-46 for 307, a touchdown, 2 picks. One of those being a pick six. Barely ran the ball, and they were just chucking the ball all over the place. I mean, C.J. Stroud just out there lighting it up, man. This kid can throw the ball. I mean, he looks great out there. He's got good command in the pocket. He makes some pretty tough throws. 16 of 21 for 274, 3 touchdowns. I mean, Singletary had 66 yards and a touchdown. Nico Collins showed up. I mean, remember, this is a team that's missing Tank Dell. It looks maybe like Dalton Schultz is 100% healthy right now. But they are missing one of their better wide receivers. I mean, Flacco and them, Njoku, leading receiver, he spread the ball around really well. You had 3 guys averaging over 14 yards per catch. But at the end of the day, the turnovers hurt them. The defense couldn't show up. They weren't getting any type of pass rush at all. Although Jeremiah Owusu Kamoa is a fucking monster. That dude was running around all over the place so much. I swear he was keeping the Cleveland Browns in this game. I mean, to have something like that on tape, he was running around like a madman during this game. It was awesome to see. But overall, I mean, the defense didn't show the fuck up. Didn't show up. And that's a theme for a lot of these games over the weekend. But yeah, Browns, I mean, just totally got destroyed. They took the lead early. It looked like, hey, maybe this might be some shootout. And then the moment I thought it was going to be a shootout, it just completely collapsed. I mean, like I said, C.J. Stroud lit it up. Singletary was running the ball well. He spread the ball around really well. 6 for 96, but then 1 for 76 and a touchdown, 3 for 44, 1 for 37, 2 for 12, 1 for 11. So, I mean, he only threw the ball 16 fucking times, or 21 times, and completed 16, 3 touchdowns. What more could you ask for, right? And then overall, I mean, the Texans won yard per play. They were averaging 8.1 yards per play to the Browns' 4.6. They had less first downs. They had less third down attempts. They only had 44 plays. The Browns had 70. They gave up no sacks, which is huge. I mean, if you can take the pass rush out of this Browns defense, that's great. The Texans also lost time of possession. I mean, they were just doing whatever they wanted. Second half, once they got up, like the end of that second quarter and then going into the second half, it was just done. They couldn't stop them on offense. Their defense, the Browns offense couldn't do anything. So they were getting multiple attempts, weren't being able to do shit, and were turning the ball over, or 3 and outs, lots of punts. But then you look, the Texans would just get the ball scored in some way, shape, or form. Second game, Miami Dolphins, Kansas City Chiefs. This was actually on Peacock, which to me was kind of bullshit, but this game was on Peacock. Kansas City Chiefs won 26-7 over the Miami Dolphins. I mean, it was freezing cold. This game was goofy as fuck because they went ahead and played it, but then they canceled and rescheduled the Buffalo game. I don't know. It's one of the coldest games in the history of football. Pacheco ran all over everybody like an angry toddler at the mall. That kid just runs around with high knees. Rashee Rice looking like a G. I mean, now we got fucking Andy Reid trying to make like me talking shit about him earlier was wrong. I don't think it is. I would definitely say that he has the ability to not spend the money or want to invest the resources on his wide receiver talent, and that you're kind of seeing the product of that and what they have. But Rashee Rice has been on fire lately. Tyreek Hill had a kind of a big play Bob Madden play touchdown. Other than that, I mean, the Dolphins didn't do anything. It was ugly game, uninteresting. We'll see. We'll learn more about the Chiefs playing on the road. It'll be Patrick Mahomes' first road playoff game. I mean, Tua 39 passes for 199, a touchdown and a pick. Mostert 8 rushes for 33 yards. And you'd think it would be like, yeah, Tua had 3 for 25. That's better than anybody else. But Tyreek Hill 5 for 62. You're not winning games like that on the road against Kansas City. Pacheco 24 rushes for 89 yards and a touchdown. But 23 of 41 for 262. That's not the best, but he has 1 touchdown, no pick. Rashee Rice caught 8 of those balls. Then Travis Kelce had 7 for 71. We did see a lot of big drops and a lot of missed opportunities by Kansas City early in this game, which might be something to look at moving forward. I know that they were kind of dogging them, and it was a little close. It's not like this game started out where they were up the whole time. I mean, first quarter, it was close second, and then just kind of got away. That touchdown by Tyreek Hill was like, uh-oh, the Dolphins are in the game. That was their one big play. But, the Chiefs had 409, you had 262, 147 rushing. But they did have a lot of drop balls. They did have a fumble in this game. We'll see. We'll learn more about Kansas City playing on the road at Buffalo this weekend than I think we learned against them, with them playing Miami at home in like negative 30 degrees with, not that Tua's got a noodle arm, but he's more accurate than he is going to like blow the ball past you. I think that kind of came back and bit him in the ass. Yeah, I mean, they lost everything. They were 1 for 12 on third down, and the Kansas City was 6 of 15, but 1 for 12. They were 3 of 6 on fourth down efficiency. That's wild. And they still had less plays. Gave up 2 sacks, had 4 punts, had the most penalties, threw a pick, lost time of possession. I mean, hats off to Kansas City, I guess. We'll learn more about them when they play Buffalo coming up. We'll do the other games last. We had Rams Lions 23-24. Lions over the Rams. Shout out. Goff. Now that my birds are out of it, I'm probably pulling for the Lions on the NFC, but he was 22 of 27, 277 and a touchdown. Stafford battling it out 25 of 36 for 367 and 2 touchdowns. Karen Williams was running everywhere. Montgomery had a touchdown. Puka Nakua, 9 catches, 181 and a touchdown. He's annoying. But, I mean, overall, really good game to watch. A lot of fun to watch with the Lions do get the win at home. That's really big. Beating, Stafford, going back home. He left. He won a Super Bowl with the Rams. Jared Goff's his replacement there. But they actually win the division. They win a playoff game at home. This, first one in over 30 years. Huge for them. Rams are a team. I mean, everybody was down on them early. I was down on them early when the Eagles beat them. I mean, this is a team that's had a lot of ups and downs, injuries, but they obviously draft well. They develop their talent well. Rams look good. Fucking sucks, but the Rams look good. Karen Williams, 13 rushes, 61 yards. I mean, there's 2 touchdowns, no picks. Puka went off in this game. Yeah, and then you just see this like Dan Campbell, just 22 of 27 for 277, 14 rushes for 57. Jamar Gibbs had 8 carries. He had a touchdown. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. Laporta caught a touchdown. There was a really bad ACL tear on Higbee in this game on a hit by, I believe, Calvin Joseph. Don't want to get that wrong, but there's a hit to the knee where Higbee was out, tore his ACL. I mean, rough hit. Yeah, the guy's a bigger guy, so it's kind of set up for them to go low. But overall, this is a really good game. 23-24, Detroit over the Rams. Pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna try to. Ooh. What is that like? All right, then let me look at this next one. Steelers Bills wasn't even close, man. There's no way the Steelers had a chance. Mason Rudolph was out there. Mr. Get Hit by My Own Helmet. 22 of 39 for 229, 2 touchdowns. Josh Allen kind of went off. He had a crazy long run in this game. He was throwing the ball all over the place. It is what it is. 21 of 30 for 203, 3 touchdowns. Jalen Warren went off. Man, this Bills team looks poised to make a serious run. Yeah, James Cook, I mean, this kid just runs around. He looks so fucking fast. Dalton Kincaid went off in this game. Diggs was he had 7 catches, but he only had 52 yards. I mean, they were just like moving it. He was spreading the ball all over the place. This offense is interesting. They fire Ken Dorsey. They bring in the new guy. I mean, it looks like it's really working for him. It looks like they're the healthiest they've been on defense in a while. They're still missing key pieces, but yeah, I mean, this Bills team looks poised to seriously make a run. They got a home game against the Chiefs. We'll see. Steelers, I mean, they go out with the winning record, 10-8. They're on their 3rd string quarterback. It's fucking Mason Rudolph. Not that he's terrible, but no. I mean, they run the ball well. They have a lot of pieces. They have Pickens. They have Harris. They have Warren. We'll see what they do in the draft. Deontay Johnson looks like he was healthy there at the end of the year. So, I mean, they have a lot to be excited about, but it's one more year that, like, Mika Fitzpatrick and Cameron Hayward and some of these defensive staples get a little bit older. Joey Porter Jr. took kind of a dirty hit to the back of the head in this game. So we'll see kind of what the Steelers do to regroup and move forward, but they do lose to the Bills, but it's not that shocking. Bow, bow. I'm just running off this. All right, we'll get into it. Packers, Cowboys. Packers lit them the fuck up. Cowboys put up 16 points in the fourth quarter. Game wasn't even that close. Jordan Love 16 of 21, 272, 3 touchdowns. Dak threw the ball 60 times, 41 of 60 for 403 with 3 touchdowns. Threw 2 picks, 1 pick 6. At one point they were down 48 to 16 whenever the game was like counted. Aaron Jones ran all over them, just like I said last show. Too bad those guys are cowards and aren't here to get chewed the fuck out. But I also had to do this episode. I can't not do it. It's playoffs, bitch. But Aaron Jones ran all over him. Tony Pollard had a touchdown. So what? CeeDee Lamb, 9 for 110. Romeo Doubs went off. 6 for 151 and a touchdown. Jordan Love had almost a perfect quarterback rating. They pulled everybody. They had to put him back in. And he had one more pass attempt, and that took him down a couple points from a perfect passer rating. They lit it up. Aaron Jones ran all over him. This Packers offense, if this is what shows up, continues to show up in the playoffs, the NFL's in some trouble. The AFC's got a couple issues. They have a lot of talent, really fast in the receivers. They can line up inside, outside, slot. The offense was so creative. The play calls were so... other than creative, I can't really think of a word, because the Cowboys defense was on skates the whole time. It's like they were guessing what they were going to be calling every single time. Kind of nice to see. That was, that made me not care so much about Sunday, which we'll get into, or Monday, because we got our asses kicked too, but I felt better about it. We saw Musgrave catch a long touchdown pass. Deontay Wicks caught a touchdown pass. They were lighting it up. Aaron Jones had 3 touchdowns. Yes, the pride of UTEP. And he's from Texas. That dude's awesome. He always plays big. I think they had like 28 tickets for friends and family for him at the game through his first touchdown pass. So I think one of his family members in the stands. Aaron Jones goes off whenever he is here. My apologies if I said Greg Jones last episode, not the crazy Florida State fullback turned running back. Aaron Jones, pride of UTEP, but he went off. Kind of like I said, this could be a game. It's going to be ball control and see how long they can keep it. And Cowboys could not figure out what the fuck they were doing on offense. Prescott, 41 of 60 for 403. Tony Pollard, Dak Prescott had 6 for 45. He did have some big runs in this game. They got Cooks had a run. Lamb had a run. Why did they let CeeDee Lamb run the ball? Michael Gallup showed up. He had 6 catches for 103. Jake Ferguson, 10 for 93 and 3 touchdowns. But some of it was garbage time. This is definitely Dak doing what he does, is just pads the stats. Now we found out that they're bringing back Mike McCarthy, so they might be looking at new coordinators. A lot of people say that Dan Quinn is out, which I think is kind of stupid. When I'm hearing these Cowboys fans be excited that Dan Quinn is losing his job, this is the same person you said should be the heir apparent to Mike McCarthy like 4 weeks ago. So I don't think that it's not necessarily realistic when they're like, oh, well, Dan Quinn needs to leave. Like, no, get the fuck out of here. Like, Mike McCarthy is the same Mike McCarthy he was with the Packers. He lost his job for a reason. I'm not saying that he necessarily deserve. I'm calling for the guy to be fired. That's not my place. But what I am saying is he's been the same coach for a couple of years. He was the same coach at Green Bay. The offense progressed and got better without Mike McCarthy being at Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers put up better stats without Mike McCarthy. He was won back-to-back MVPs without Mike McCarthy. Granted, Mike McCarthy won a Super Bowl, but I think that's kind of relative to the fact that everybody gets better. We saw everybody get better after he left. I'm not saying that the Cowboys will necessarily get better if he's not their coach, but I don't think that you're going to get anything different next year from Mike McCarthy, from the play calling aspect, from what he expects. I think he's going to want to bring back more of his pieces. I think that the difference, and both, when I talk about the Eagles game, the difference between Mike McCarthy and Nick Sirianni is we've seen Nick Sirianni in his first 3 years, coach really well for his first 3 years. We've seen Mike McCarthy have long periods of time of coaching other teams, whether it be the Cowboys. We've seen him long term. We've also seen him long term with the Green Bay Packers. And granted, he won a Super Bowl, but then we watched that offense. I mean, you win a Super Bowl with the Packers after replacing Brett Favre. You'd think you're in Mike Tomlin territory and you're going to be like frozen in time. But those Packers teams always underperformed, always lost in the playoffs, always invested in their defenses and had defensive collapses underneath Mike McCarthy. So I just find it interesting that now the Cowboys are wanting to call for him to lose his job. They want to see Dan Quinn lose his job and think he should go somewhere else, and they'd be better off without him. When their defense doesn't play that well, they don't have the development of Bland, all these other pieces. I think he could get more out of, like, say, a Mozzie Smith than probably some other coaches could. So being excited that he could be leaving, to me, is a little bit goofy, because I think that might come back and bite you in the ass when he's, like, interviewing for the head coaching job of the Commanders that could stay in division. I don't know if the Cowboys are better off without Dan Quinn, especially whenever you have Belichick, some of these other, Vrabel, Harbaugh. You got a hard circuit of people going around and applying for these head coaching jobs, and to think that you're better off with somebody. I mean, I think you could be better off without Mike McCarthy based off of the sample size of people that are out there. And they might be able to get more out of your defensive pieces than say a Mike McCarthy is. But if you think that you could go find a different offensive minded coach, and I think you'd still be better off keeping Dan Quinn, letting him draft for you, letting him develop, letting him find these pieces, because he's helped make Jordan Lewis better. He's helped make Bland better. He's plugged in Stephon Gilmore and put him in situations to win. It's not like he set Clark up, even though he's a loose cannon. Some of these guys could be potentially leaving. I think Lewis is. I think Clark is. Could be going off. And granted, you get Diggs back. We'll see what he looks like. And then you have Bland and Diggs, and then you're going to have to pay both of them. And you still got to pay Micah. They got a lot of decisions coming their way. And I don't know if you're better off without Dan Quinn. But Cowboys have said they are going to keep him. Jerry Jones thinks that he gives them the best option to win in the future. I call bullshit, but we'll see. I mean, I laughed and chuckled, and I'm kind of happy about that. But we'll see. We shall see. But Cowboys lose. First team to go 12-5 in 3 straight seasons to not make a conference championship. First 2 seed to lose to a 7 in the wild card round since that's existed. So a lot of firsts, a lot of not good things for the Cowboys. Granted, I have mine on my own side, but let me find solace in how I see fit. Fuck the Cowboys. Then the last game, Eagles-Bucks, baby. Baker Mayfield lit him up. I mean, he really just had to play within himself because the Eagles didn't do shit. They didn't have A.J. Brown. They only ran the ball with DeAndre Swift 10 times for 34 yards. Jalen Hurts, 25 of 35 for 250 and a touchdown. Devontae Smith, 8 for 148. I mean, he looked like the only person who even wanted to play. But Baker showed up. Rashawn White had 72 yards. Cade Otton had a lot of really good catches in this game as well. Oh, no, crap. I can't do this. I don't want that. Go back. Thank you. Do not want that. Oof. These player sets. I mean, yeah, they barely ran the ball. Gainwell had 4 for 3 yards. A lot of dink and dunks to everybody else. Julio Jones got knocked out of this game. I mean, they were in it for a bit. Then they got a safety. Defense showed up. Then the offense didn't. I mean, just unrealistic. I mean, that's what I've had a feeling that I knew they could lose this game because they have a talented defense. Tampa flies around. They got one of the better safeties in the game in Winfield. Everybody seems to be healthy on that team. But fuck, man. That sucks. And 8 for 89, 2 for 66, 1 for 56, 3 for 48, 4 for 45. I mean, we saw the tackling by the Eagles was just atrocious. Looked like nobody wanted to be out there. It looked like Bradbury, a bunch of other guys were making business decisions, like they wanted to go into the season with no aches and pains. They didn't want to go out there and stick somebody. So Eagles lost. I mean, they were 10-1, and then you just see this collapse. They said Sirianni's going to keep his job. I don't think that's as bad as McCarthy keeping his job. And that's mostly because McCarthy has proven over time that he's going to be losing games. I mean, we're watching Sirianni get his first head coaching job, take a team 3 straight years to the playoffs, 2 years straight over 10 wins. He looks like he's developed some talent. I think that losing our coordinators, letting TJ Edwards go, obviously Gardner Johnson hurts. I think he was kind of a dick, so good for that. Good riddance, but he's very talented, and now he's healthy going into the playoffs. So even if he got the same stuff happen that's happened in Detroit, you'd be adding him to the mix. Losing Sidney Brown hurts, obviously. There's just a lot of issues on this Eagles team, and the play calling on offense was bad. Hopefully Brian Johnson loses his job. I think our defensive coordinator loses his job. They've talked about already looking out and going and hiring people. I personally think the Eagles should go out and get push for an Eric Bieniemy. I think if you pick Eric Bieniemy with an A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, I think Dallas Goedert, I think you get a really creative offense where they're going to spread the ball around well. I think that's something that they should look into, or they got to do somebody like calling plays in the NFL, and not that I know shit about it. So understand, I realize that this is an outsider's perspective, but I feel like there's like a science to it. It's almost like being a composer. I don't think it's not everybody can write classical music. I don't think everybody who can sit there and coach up your wide receivers to run good routes is necessarily going to be good at going out there and calling an entire game, and coming up with a game plan and scripting out an offense and looking, exploiting the defenses and exposing those and showcasing those in film and making sure that everybody understands the concepts. I don't think everybody that's a good position coach necessarily makes a good offensive coordinator. Just like with Brian Johnson, I don't think Brian Johnson, it's not every quarterback's coach makes a good quarterback at Utah. He was a good quarterback as well, so it's not like he doesn't understand the game. But I think that, there was a little bit of a staleness, and not everybody who's good at coaching up quarterbacks to read defenses and going through progressions is necessarily going to be the best at deciding what those progressions are. So he's being interviewed for head coaching jobs. So I'm shocked, but some people aren't. I don't know. I'm baffled by that. But they're going to be keeping him. I think that Baker Mayfield deserves to get, at least a 2, 3, 4 year deal. You got to keep him. He seems stable. I think the fan base likes him. He won you a playoff game. Now you're going to be going on the road. You're playing Detroit. We'll see. Big game. But they got, he's got a lot of momentum behind it. Somebody just pay this guy and let him stay on your team. I mean, right? Can we just submit and Baker's good. I'm not the biggest Baker fan. He throws the ball accurately. And he can make plays. He's tough. He's just not my cup of tea. But Baker's definitely not a terrible quarterback. And you see what's gone on with the Browns and the inconsistency there. Then you see how bad Carolina was. And now Baker's in the playoffs, beat the Eagles in a playoffs game. Pretty big deal. That's huge for them. It looks like they got a lot of talent. They got some good speed. The receiving core looks good. We'll see what they're able to do going on the road. If that defense shows up, they have a good defense. I do think they got some calls that kind of went their way early, like on the push-tush stop, where they were ripping on Jalen Hurts' helmet. I mean, come on. I think you got to call that. That was a big play. That was a 2-point conversion. But they should have probably kicked the fucking field goal. Then you're only down 6, and you're not having to push so hard when you get that safety. So there's a lot of goofiness that went on. And then you give up a touchdown after the safety on a big long play. Sloppy tackling. It was just like a collapse. We'll see. I think there's going to be some good players leaving, maybe even retiring from the Eagles. But I think they'll be able to rebound, recoup. They got 4 picks in the top 100 in this year's draft. They did sign Isaiah Rodgers, corner from the Colts, who was going into his 3rd year. But now he's suspended for gambling. But he's a good return guy, plays good corner. the Eagles signed him and own his rights. He's got like 3 more years left on his deal. He comes out. We'll see what happens. But I think Bradbury's gone. You get the fuck rid of Bradbury. We'll see about Cox. We'll see about some of these other guys. But you definitely gotta shake it the fuck up, and you gotta invest in this defense. They'll have the 22nd overall pick. Hopefully the Eagles go out and pick up, say, like Jeremiah Trotter Jr., somebody like that. That would be incredible, especially for Eagles fans. And yeah, Bucks playing with house money, man. We'll see what they can get done. But those are the games of last week. So this week, I'm just going to get my picks on it, make it real quick. I wish we had some people with us. The boys can't be here, but it's fine. Texans, Ravens, I think we've already seen this game once. I mean, I like the Ravens in this game. Dalvin Cook signed, cleared, ready to play. I like the Ravens in this game. We'll see what they can do. Texans offense shows up. I mean, Mark Andrews might play in this game. Marlon Humphrey's out, but that's going to be a good game. I'm going to take the Ravens over the Texans, but I think it's going to be a close one. In the words of Kevin Garnett, anything's possible. Then you got the Packers versus the 49ers. This will be a good game. Everyone's going to go 49ers. Obviously, I don't know why you wouldn't. They're coming off their bye. But that Packers team is hot. That offense looks good. That running game looks good. That offensive line showing up. The defense flying around, creating turnovers. If Jair Alexander's 100% healthy and ready to play, they got good. Their secondary looked pretty decent. I think they could give the Niners a run for their money. Obviously, I'm probably going to roll with the Niners in this game. But don't be shocked if it's, 31-28. Like, if it's a close game. If the 49ers turn the ball over against the Packers, it's the same thing, the same formula, the exact same formula they're going to use that they used against the Cowboys they're going to use here. Try to run the ball, control the clock, put Jordan Love in great positions to make quick decisions on getting the ball out. And if they can do that, create a couple turnovers, the Packers could easily win this game. Lions, Bucks. I think the Lions beat the Bucks. I think the Lions are easily going into the NFC Championship game, which will be a good one. That would be awesome. If they're able to win, I'm all rolling for the Lions now. I want Goff to go win a Super Bowl with the Lions. I want it to be the Lions win the Super Bowl, Goff gets a Super Bowl and wins one, so gets to a Super Bowl with the Rams, drags them out of the mud as the number 1 overall pick, something that Matt Stafford never fucking did with the Lions. That's why it's awesome that he beat him, because he never won shit whenever he was there, and then he won a Super Bowl with all of Goff's old teammates. So Goff took the Rams to a Super Bowl, lost, but still took them there. Then you see if he's able to take the Lions to a Super Bowl and even win it, that's it. If he takes the Lions to a Super Bowl, he will have taken 2 dead franchises to a Super Bowl. He's set, not that he was set up to fail with the Rams, because you had a lot of talent on that team. I mean, that's, peak Todd Gurley. You've got Woods. You've got all these people that are just making plays out there, which I get. But if he's able to take the Lions there to the promised land, so I think that they're just playing. I think they're just going to get after it. I think their running game is going to be too much. I think they're going to run the ball heavy, make decisions. Amon-Ra. I think that this Bucs team's good. I think they're going to not go away easy. But the Lions are coming. They got a vision. They got Dan Campbell just pumping them up. They've been talking about these games for years, and they finally got that first one. It's like they've talked for years about, okay, we got to win the division. So as if they've been checking this shit off. I remember coaches used to talk about that. All right, check them off one by one. Like, I think the first one was to be to win the district. Then the second one would be to be practicing on Thanksgiving, because if you're practicing on Thanksgiving in Texas high school football, then you're in like the quarters. You're in like the quarterfinals. Like, you're past. You're in the playoffs. You've won a playoff game. You've won your district. You're in it, right? So you're practicing on a day when you're not in school, and you would have practice on Thanksgiving. So that was always your second goal. Was, I want to be practicing on Thanksgiving. First one, win the division, or for the first one, win the district, practice on Thanksgiving. Then you worry about everything else after that, right? But you try to compartmentalize it, and the Lions had to have done that over a window. So now they've, won the division. They've won a home playoff game. You slay that dragon of Matt Stafford, who left you and went and won a Super Bowl, and then you beat him in the playoffs. Man, that's sweet. So I think the Lions just really get after the Bucks. I think it's a closer game than we might expect, but I think at the end of the game, it'll get out of hand. There'll be some Baker turnovers towards the end of the game where he'll just be pushing. It'll probably be, like a 17-point game, and he'll be looking to try to cut it to, pretty close to like one score or a score and a touchdown. And he'll throw a pick, get a turnover. I think it gets kind of out of hand like that. So probably like 38-21. Then we got Chiefs-Bills. I hope the Bills kick the shit out of the Chiefs. I want the Chiefs to get humbled. I think it would be awesome for the overall NFL script. That might be a part of it. But if they lose this game, if Mahomes loses his first road playoff game, because he's never played a road playoff game, and he loses it, that kind of puts a little kink in the armor, or they fucks it up. So I think that'd be awesome if they were able to lose to the Bills on the road. This is a team that's built for the cold. They look hot. They're running the ball well. Cook looks like a beast. He's flying around. That guy's so fast. It's crazy how his running style is different from his brother, Dalvin Cook, who's now with the Ravens, because he just slashes through. He's a great receiver, runs good routes. He's great after the catch. I hope the Bills win. Chiefs could easily win this game, but I don't think so. I think this Bills team is coming. It's like the Bills, the Packers, the Texans, but especially the Bills and the Packers have been playing hot for a while. Especially, Texans but Texans did lose some games. They were down Stroud for a bit, even though they did win some games with Case Keenum, and now he's back. They have had some issues, but the Chiefs didn't come in playing hot. The Lions kind of were. The Rams were a really hot team coming into the playoffs. The Bills are a really hot team. Packers are a really hot team. So hopefully, I'm looking to see if it's a perfect world. It'd be Ravens, Packers, Lions, Bills. Don't think that's going to happen. It's probably going to end up being Ravens, Niners, Lions, Bills, in my opinion. And that's, picking three favorites. And but I feel like the Bills would be the favorites in this game. Josh Allen looks like he's playing crazy. That 57-yard touchdown run. Ridiculous. So we'll see. But those are my picks for the week. Short episode. We didn't really... I will say I'm pretty fucking pissed that the Eagles lost. I'm not shocked. It is what it is, but at the end of the day, it don't feel bad for me because everybody hates the fucking Eagles. So I get it. We're the worst, and Sirianni, you brought it on yourself, I guess, and talking your shit, but it's really frustrating. But it is what it is. We'll see. Hopefully they fire all the coordinators. I think Sirianni should keep his job. Some people don't. What the fuck ever. But I'm playing faraway war sounds because that's what's going on in my head when I was watching that fucking game. We ran 600. We ran some stupid amount of screen passes. Yeah, I'm gonna fucking go up. We ran some stupid ass amount of screen passes this year for negative yards. And I said, what are these screen passes? We run the stupidest screen passes of all time. Dumbest shit ever. Dumbest play calling ever. No momentum. We were kind of had it in the beginning, and then they changed it up. But even then, I'm like, what is this weird ass fucking screen pass? We kick a field goal. We cut it to 13 points. We stopped their offense multiple times. There's 13 minutes left in the third quarter, and you could just take the field goal, kick it off, get a stop, and then cut it down. It's like, come on, what are you doing? And instead, then you get the false start, but just take the field goal. If you're going to throw it to the end zone on 4th and 5, and you're not going to look for something to keep the drive going, then you just fucking You fucking take the field goal. Don't just throw the ball into the end zone and say like, oh, Devontae Smith, jump over somebody taller than you, jump over them and catch this ball. Nobody run to the middle of the field. Middle of the field was open the whole fucking game. Stupid fucking stupid. And I'm sure Cowboys fans can attest because some of their play calling stupid. Like I said, it's like being a composer. It's not like playing the guitar. You can learn guitar and play guitar, but not everybody's going to be able to write a whole fucking symphony and be able to make it sound beautiful to everybody. Man, that's great. Ooh, I like what you did right there, and you set it up right there. That's what you got to do that on offense, and you got to do that on defense. So the Cowboys want Dan Quinn to leave. Wild to me. That guy is a fucking musical savant, composer, when it comes to calling defensive plays and setting people pass rushes up. If you were to fire him and he doesn't get a head coaching job, he won't be a coordinator, unemployed coordinator for very long. And I know he choked in the Super Bowl, but nah, you don't get to do that because Cowboys fans are blowing smoke up my ass all year about how great Dan Quinn was, and he loses to the Packers. And that's not, maybe that's offensive coaching. The offense was set up better. Yeah, maybe. I mean, Deron Bland looked. Where was he? I mean, the offense that all these all pros and this Pro Bowl, all pro first team, all defense corner. Like, a lot of people didn't show up in that Cowboys game. They got manhandled. Michael Parsons didn't show up in that, and like that has nothing to do with Dan Quinn or their play calling. Yeah, he got his first holding call in like 3 months. All right. He got manhandled by a guy in a 4-year, $4.4 million deal. Like somebody who's a no-name right tackle who's played his ass off, game of his life, and hopefully he gets more dough, but he fucking put it on him. I mean, same with the goddamn Eagles. It is what it is. Well, it was a short one, but we all suck. Cowboys suck. Eagles suck. Everybody sucks. We'll have everybody back next week. Appreciate y'all swinging by. Fuck it. Go Eagles. Alright, go